their voice have and be the power it can be, correct?
That is exactly right, and it's the only way to change Washington. I mean, at the end of the day, look, I think some of the reason you've seen the unhappiness is by going to the people. We're basically appealing to the senator's boss, to my boss. I've got 26 million bosses. And if the American people stand up and light up the phones, light up Twitter, light up Facebook, light up email, and if elected senators hear from enough of their constituents, I promise you it gets their attention. And even those who don't want to stand and fight, all that has to happen is it has to get politically more risky to do the wrong thing than to do the right thing, and suddenly the numbers change in a big, big way. That's what happened in the House. The Senate's going to be harder.
Well, it's been done in 2007. The people rose up and stopped immigration reform in that summer. And what was pretty powerful then, Senator, because the Republicans at that point, we had a Republican president who was in favor of the immigration reform that was in the legislation. They had to go along with it, but it was the first time that they hadn't. The people rose up. It can be done.
Rush, you're exactly right. We saw it in 07 on immigration. We saw it this year on drones. We saw it this year on guns. We saw it this year on Syria. When the people rise up, the politicians listen. Now, this fight, the politicians are dug in more. In the Senate, they're really entrenched, and so it's got to be a grassroots tsunami. So I would urge folks, don't just sign the petition. If you really want to change Washington, let me ask everyone listening, and there is no radio audience like your audience, Rush. Let me ask everyone listening, find 3 people this week to sign that petition and call their senators. If everyone listening to your show did that, it would shut down the Senate switchboards, and it would focus the minds and attention of senators. They wouldn't be happy about it, but it would focus them like nothing else, and it would help change Washington so we listen to the people, which is what we should be doing in the first place.
I'll tell you, the conventional wisdom is that Reed's got his votes, that there's no way that this is ever going to happen. That even if the Senate did vote the way you want them to, Obama's going to veto it. There's just no way that you can actually realize the outcome that you want here.
Well, that's because virtually nobody in Washington believes it's possible to win the argument with the American people, to persuade, to move people. I think if the American people get engaged at sufficient numbers, first we unify Republicans on this vote, then we move red state Democrats. Listen, once we unify Republicans, if we can get 46, or all we need is 41 Republicans, then the phones light up on Mark Pryor and Mary Landrieu and Kay Hagan and all the red state Democrats and Mark Begich. And listen, if you're running for re-election in 2014 in, say, Arkansas and Louisiana, and you get 10, 20,000, 50,000 calls from your constituents, I guarantee you that changes your calculus. But that won't happen until the Republicans stop shooting their own, until the Republicans unify first. And so our objective is very simple, which is get all the Republicans to do what they say they believe in, just to stand up for what they've been telling their constituents over and over again they believe in.
Well, it's so frustrating because the thing is such a disaster. And I think you made that point. All the delays, all the waivers, all the ways this thing's falling apart already. It doesn't deserve to be implemented just on the basis of competence.
Look, it's exactly right, and it makes no sense that there should be special rules, special exemptions from President Obama for his buddies, for the rich and powerful and connected, for big corporations and members of Congress. They get exempted, but not hardworking Americans.
Yeah, Congress is going to get subsidized, Office of Personnel Management.
Yep, and that's Washington and budget, which is rules for thee, but not for me. We get special treatment. You know, Dick Durbin came on the Senate floor and said, look, our health care is first class. We want to stick people back in coach. I don't think members of Congress ought to have better treatment than the American citizens who are losing their health insurance because of Obamacare, who are being forced onto exchanges that aren't working.
Well, it was really stunning. I forget the exact day, but I see this story that said that congressional and Senate staff, both parties, were complaining that what they earn, which is 6 figures, that they couldn't afford it without the subsidy. I said, what? They make more than far more than the national average. It left me speechless. We can't afford this. You wrote it. What do you mean you can't afford it?